everybody to another show of CRE8. I'm here with this beautiful creature and artist. Thanks for being here. If you don't mind, please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Anabelle Del Valle, and I am a mixed media artist. I mostly work collage and smaller pieces. I design the backgrounds and then find images and then sort of stick to analog collage. I do some digital work, but mostly is all by hand and analog. Depending on the kind of work that I do involves a lot of pattern, and it's influenced by both commercial design and architecture. So it's very time consuming. So if I do everything analog by hand, sometimes pieces will take me between 5 hours, 8 hours, or a couple of days to be able to manage that. So when for example, if I do screen print, then I still like that sort of tactile quality to the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do, for example, something digital that then turns into analog, and then kind of navigate both spaces sometimes. Yes,
Very cool. Did you go to school for this, or did you?
I went to school for architecture.
Wow.
And it's I think the hardest thing that I've done. It was a hard program to do, and I completed and I practiced for a little bit, but not very much. So and then I started making art, and then I really enjoyed doing it. I do work as an architectural designer and a graphic designer to be able to sort of support the creative artwork side.
Wow.
So that's, I think that's what's been a little bit the trickiest part to do both.
To be able to balance the day job and the artistic side of yours.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Is your day job very demanding? You feel like it's really hard to come home and still create more?
It was. I left my job like about 3 months ago. So, and it was a little bit demanding. I had a little bit of a commute, so it was a lot of balancing both. And I think that and I did that work for about 4 years. So a couple things happened. You aren't able sometimes to give 100% to both. You know what I mean? So you struggle in that balance where, I felt like, it's hard also to find people that are understanding of that,
You mean as an employer?
The employer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To sort of, sometimes if there's an art show or something, there's not that flexibility sometimes. So you tend to, so that's what began to be tricky.
Yeah.
The commute was far, and then also that, I wasn't able to meet the expectations a lot of times because, in order for me to be able to do the artwork,
So in order to balance it, you quit it 3 months ago?
I did for a couple of reasons. So right now I'm working for it's my first solo show. It's in the UK.
Congratulations.
And thank you. So
where is it?
It's in Swindon. The gallery is called Oink Gallery.
Wonderful. And what are the dates?
And the dates, it'll be up for 3 weeks, and the opening show is July 20th.
Congratulations, that's so soon. Are you still working on it, or are you all done?
I still have a little bit to do. So because I agreed to do the show probably like 8 months ago, and like I said, this is very time consuming.
Yes.
So I've been working on these pieces, and I'm filling the gallery. I've been working on these pieces for like about 4 months now.
Wow.
And that's part of the reason why. Timing. Things weren't working out very well. It was just time, what I mean? It was just time to do this and then give this an opportunity. It's been a little bit nerve-wracking because the money aspect of the production of this. But I was able to actually, it was like a family venture. My husband, he's, I guess, would be my sister-in-law's husband has a screen printing company in Mexico. So they were able to help me, do the screen prints. It was a lot in shipping and things, but it was I mean, it's family, so they were able to help me out with a
Oh,
little
what
bit
a
of-
gift.
Yeah,
That's
and so it was a
incredible.
really beautiful gift. So I produced 98 screen prints. So now I'm
Wow.
doing the analog collage part of those prints. So
That's
and
amazing.
it's kind of funny that, you know, because I do figurative work that I paint and stuff, but most of my stuff is very like abstract. I you know, and a lot of people have told me, and I think now that I'm I'm not reevaluating, I guess. I would like to find a job that is less demanding, so I can spend more time doing the actual, you know, figurative part of my work. So collage served me for a very long time because it's that outlet of finding something that is already exists, and you know, and also, you know, I'm still doing things by hand, and you know, so I like that aspect. It's actually very time consuming to figure out what you're gonna do with each pattern.
Of course.
Especially that I created the pieces in this way, that I came out with the pattern first, and then find images that will fit into that and sort of become part of one composition, you know?
Wow. So do you duplicate them? Are people able to get prints of it, or is every single one of them just unique and original, or you don't even sell the original, only prints, or how do you do it?
The prints are a little bit less expensive. I do both. I try to limit the addition of prints.
Yes.
I try not to do, if I do a series, let's say that I pick a few images and print those, I try to do 25 tops or 50, and try not to do like them again. I've been making mostly digital prints. This is the first time that I do screen prints.
That's exciting.
But the screen prints though are gonna be a mix of collage and screen print. So those I think that I'm gonna sell like original pieces, and then if I make prints of those, I want to do prints on paper, like, you know, regular screen print on paper. But that'll be another aspect, and I think it'll give though the work a different sort of look and feel, you know, because they kind of tend to look graphic, you know, have that graphic quality to them. So it will be something different, but that'll be another. I think I'll, you know, maybe limit those to 10 or something like that.
So I see that you have a pin. I'm assuming that's yours. Is that one of yours?
Yes, that's one of yours. Oh, thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
They're so incredible. I remember I met you at a show that we did together in Silver Lake, and I saw your work, and I was just kind of like so intrigued by it. And you told me at the time that you actually did a mural where you did a stencil, and I think that took you quite a while too, because it's literally all made by hand. It's not like it's already printed and you just lay it out.
No, it took a lot of time. So once you figure out the pattern, the bigger you go, the more time consuming it is. So it was two walls, and maybe we can, I don't know, show an image or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It came in a corner, right? So and the walls were uneven in height. One of them was about 9 feet high, and the other was 12. So I had one stencil that was like one square foot. So it was like,
oh wow,
you know what I mean?
How long did that take you?
Took like about, in reality, I think it took like 4 days.
Wow.
But because of the job and whatever, and you're trying to make it, you know, so it took probably like about 2 or 3 weeks to complete.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then, you know, for that one, because it's still the idea of collaging on a wall, I still kept that and printed and did a wheat pasting of the figure.
Oh,
and then the pattern stayed for a while, but it's in an area in Skid Row where there's a lot of tagging and everything. It was up for like about, I think that I like to think that people realize how time consuming that was. So it was kept, you know,
Preserved a little bit.
untagged for like about 3 weeks. So I
wow.
think that's okay. I
Oh,
got
wow.
good photographs and it's fine. It was a great
Yeah.
learning experience.
Yeah, no, that's it. Do you do murals a lot, or was that kind of like the
That
one-time
was my
thing?
first mural. No, I'd like to do more. I just haven't,
Yeah.
you know, found
Because
any-
that's
I-
really, I can imagine how
I-
consuming that is if you
I
do that.
need some walls.
Yeah.
Maybe a bigger stencil. Maybe I'll do it like different.
Yeah.
Just have to think about how to translate it.
Right.
Yeah.
But are you done with your show for London? Are you all set, or are you still working on that?
I just have a few things to do. Like I produce all the prints and I'm just working on the collage
Yeah.
part. And then I think I've completed about I think I did 98. I think I've completed like about 70. So I got a good.
Why 98
22.
and not 100?
And that one because actually it's funny that you asked. I gave away 2 pieces to his family. They were it was such a challenge for them in the sense that they never did this kind of work before. They had no idea. Like I talk about it and explain, but they do like commercial, like you know, banners, T-shirts, whatever. You know what I mean? So it was kind of.
So you had 100 printed, and then you gave them to.
Yeah, I gave.
That's amazing.
I gave 2 away. I'm like, this is so good.
Yes,
So,
and they appreciate it.
Of course, yes, and they're excited. They're like when they're all up in the gallery, like we want to like. Please take pictures and show us because it like you know I think that it's so amazing to have support from people that care about this kind of thing in your life. You know
of course, absolutely. Because I think it's huge to have people that get it.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That, especially when it's family.
Yes.
I think that this is such a wonderful but. Sometimes like you're perceived as an artist as being a flake, like you know all these things.
Absolutely.
All these things like how are you going to make a living, how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that,
of course,
you know
the obvious concerns.
Exactly. And for example for me, like coming from this very real architecture like background where you know what I mean, where it's like there's a certain I guess expectations, you know what I mean. So but no, I mean, they've been very supportive. But they were a little puzzled. It's like, what are you trying to do? Like, is that what you're trying to do? Like when I sent the files and everything. So when it was finished, like I said, they're printing things for advertising and signs and you know that kind of T-shirts for promotions. And things. So they've never. This is like first time tackling fine art or something like that. It's like you're trying to do what?
Yeah, for them it must have been like discovering a new country or something. Such a different thought, right?
Yeah,
visually and all that. That's incredible. Yes, please. Like I would love to share with all our you know obviously viewers and listeners and readers what you really do, so they can kind of get a feel of what it is that you do. Because I remember seeing your work and it was visually just so stunning and intriguing. And if you don't mind, I'll actually we'll if you want to put it up. We also have listeners, so not everybody's gonna understand visually what you're holding up. So maybe we can just kind of like let them know that it's beautiful.
So explain. For example, this one.
Let's put it up so people can actually see it.
Yeah. So this one started very organic.
Gorgeous. So did you paint the background? This looks painted, right? It's a collage.
Yeah. So the background is graphite and ink. So it's just So all of this that looks a little bit shiny is just graphite. And then so this pattern, for example, started very organic. And then I sort of like the idea of overlaying a grid to the focus points of the bigger, you know, and then it's a pattern on a pattern,
right? And
then you know the image.
I can see your architectural mind.
I know
now that you're explaining it with the grid and just kind of like how it looks really organic, but fundamentally it's actually very structured underneath. And how gorgeous!
And
that
I always
makes it even more intriguing.
To I don't know, in the chaos there's order too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. Like I sort of like that randomness. And not all the time. Like sometimes I'll start with grids and with very like geometric shapes. Yeah. But when I do start with organic things, you start to realize that there's a pattern to the organic thing that you're doing. There's a certain. So I like to point those differences.
That's amazing. I really hope that everybody kind of gets to see this visually stunning. Are they all this size? The one that you do in London? Are they
the ones that I'm doing in London are without the frame, they're about 9 by 9 inches. So
Got it.
because I'm thinking of how am I gonna get them there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
are you going yourself to bring them?
Yes, I think that I am.
Are you framing them?
I am,
Great.
and I think I'm gonna frame them there just because of transportation.
Mhm.
So I have to get there a little bit earlier before delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still coordinating the last bit of logistics
Yeah.
on that. But yeah, that's what's really difficult also, like the decision of making these. So I'm curious to see how the gallery's gonna organize this, because it's gonna be like a bunch of squares, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like 98 of them through the
Mhm.
galleries. So
Do you have a say?
that, I showed them a layout that I
Uh-huh.
thought that, you know, but at the end, I mean, it's their, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That they have to
Yes.
design their event
Yes.
how they feel that,
Of course.
you know, it would be.
Is it going to
best.
be your first solo show?
Yeah, first solo
Wow,
show. Yeah,
and
so
international.
yeah,
What an accomplishment. This is wonderful.
I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Let
so
me just
much.
ask you real quick, because
Yeah.
you know you're saying how it's hard to kind of balance having a day job and doing
Mhm.
your art, and how sometimes it's really frustrating,
Mhm.
and trying to find a job that kind of lets you do both, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think is the fundamental reason that like just motivates you to keep going? Because I know that, you know,
Yeah.
a solo show is incredible, but you know, you didn't, let's say you didn't have this 5 years ago or 4
Yeah,
years ago, you know, just kind of
exactly.
like, how do you keep going through kind of like the thick parts where
You
you're
know,
like, how do I live out my dream?
It's a struggle. I had a moment this year. There was a lot of personal changes in my life. You know, I got married, and
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And so it's been a struggle to sort of know. You know, my mom is amazing because she like really pushes to like, you have to do this. Like, you've worked so
Your mom
hard.
supports your
Oh
art?
yeah, absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
What a gift.
She
That's-
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's-
it's a real.
It's a
gift
rare, yes.
to have someone, and especially like coming from such a real world background.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That is architect. And you know what I mean? Like, and
Totally.
like I said, there's like a professional expectation that people will
Yes.
have. You know, so she like fully supports this, and there's
Wow,
been times where I
wonderful.
was like, you know, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, I'm ready to say, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, like, how am I gonna do this? Like,
Mhm.
how am I gonna logistically? She's like, look, you can do this. Like, you have to figure, like, think how you would ship something.
Yeah.
Think of all those, what can you get there? Like, what are the advantages you have to make this happen?
Wow.
Like, really think about it.
Wow,
you know?
she sounds like a really good soundboard.
Yeah, and isn't it great? It's just
Yeah,
like,
amazing.
don't look at the problems, just look at the solutions to the problem. And not only that, I mean, she's great. She's seriously, like, I talked to her. Yeah,
That's
sometimes
amazing.
too much. And then she goes, like, she goes, in reality, like, when you add it all up, like, let's say, how much money is it really? Like, add it all up, see what you have, and then see, like,
What's feasible?
Yes. Like, what can you accomplish with the things that
Amazing.
you have? Like, you know, and then
I wish
maybe-
we all had a mom like yours.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
just really great. So yeah, she's been pushing
Wow.
for this, and she's like, yeah, like, you have to make this happen because
Yeah.
it's a really, you know, you worked really hard for this, and nobody,
Yeah.
like, every step of the way, you know,
Yeah.
and she's like, always keep producing, like, just keep producing, just keep
Yes.
making it, don't give up, like.
Yes.
So that kind of thing. It's important to. I always say, like, I have to work at my positive attitude sometimes.
Yes.
You know?
Don't we all?
Yeah, like,
right?
really,
Of
like,
course.
work on it and really,
Yeah.
like, try to be more grateful
Yes.
for the things that we do have, and not.
Yes.
You know, sometimes I don't know, I told somebody not too long ago, when you are in the process of, and I don't know, it's because of my husband, he's amazing, he's so supportive, and like, you know, we're going through some, you know, changes, you know, like, we're trying to move out of a small apartment, things like, you know, everyday
Right.
things that happen to everyone, you know. So very supportive, and I think that having all the advice from different people, and it's like a different collage of different things. You know what I mean?
You think in
Yeah,
terms of collages.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. That's like how you bring words.
Yeah, and
I love
honestly,
that.
like all this montage of different just things. I told someone, you know, in the process of getting where your dreams are, you forget to live in the present sometimes. And this idea of being happy and well, it's like a postponed thought. Like when I get this,
yes,
I'm going to be great.
yes,
And then when you get that,
yes,
you're already on to the next thing.
of course.
Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
It's never done. Of
It's
course,
it's
you're
never
never
done.
Right.
But in the process of getting there, like you need to remember that today
Yeah.
is like forming the future. You know, you
Yeah.
gotta enjoy this too, and this is
Absolutely.
okay. You know, so
Oh my God. And I think it's one of the most difficult things that you really have to learn to train your brain to really be present.
yeah,
And I think the more I read about it, the more I hear about it, the more like input I get about really living in the now. Fundamentally, I think you're right. It does come down to gratitude. Because
definitely-
once you have the thought of what you're grateful for, you automatically in the present. It just puts you like, you know, thank you for having being alive at this very moment. And I think that's so important, right?
yeah,
Because you never know.
yeah.
I just found out a few days ago that my friend died 4 years ago and she was 46.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
didn't even know. It's like one of those where you like, you know, you just like situations like that remind you how fundamentally we're all destined to die, right?
Yeah.
So it's like how do you make the most out of the now? How do you live in this moment and not miss it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how do you not miss out
and
on
not
it?
miss it, and not, and
Yeah.
that, and you know, like things change so quickly. Like it's amazing to me how things change so fast.
Yeah.
You know, like everything I think is in stages. You know, like sometimes you're living your life, you know, and you think, oh my God, this is gonna be the thing forever.
Mhm.
But no, then something happens.
Totally.
You know,
Yes.
you know, something
Absolutely.
happens. You know, and then it changes, and then it's
Absolutely.
something new,
Yeah.
and then that, you know.
Which is also a good thing because
yeah,
sometimes
it's-
when you're like in a whirlwind of like, you know, just kind of like a little bit of a downfall, you feel
Yeah.
like it feels forever.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
knowing that everything is flexible and nothing is, you know, everything fundamentally is very short-lived. That in those cases you feel like, oh, okay, I know
Okay,
there's a
yeah.
light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel,
yeah,
which is a good thing.
yeah. So anyway, those are the things that I try
Yeah.
to, and doing honestly this tedious work helps
Yeah.
you keep balance, and but like it takes, like, this is all
Wow.
hand drawn,
Oh wow.
and
So gorgeous. Is it
it
done?
also, yeah, well, it's not done. This,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring one without
Yeah.
the collage
Yeah.
part. This one I did in a life drawing, life
Oh cool.
painting kind of show,
Yeah.
and it takes a couple hours. And I think that and I don't know if it's a compliment or something, but it really looks like you have so much patience, like, you know.
Yes.
So it's like so much patience. Like there
Of
are so
course.
many other ways to do it. Like you can tape this down. Like there's
Right.
so many other ways to figure the pattern out. But I do enjoy the tediousness of it, and I think it's part of like being part. It's very
Mhm.
meditative to do this
Yes.
kind of work, you know.
I understand.
So
Yeah, totally
so
understand.
that sort of
If you
aspect
might,
of,
well,
like,
maybe what I
yeah,
love
yeah.
this one. This one is absolutely gorgeous. How gorgeous is that?
Thank you. I
If-
made.
If you don't mind, I'm
No,
gonna
no, go
put
ahead,
this a
go
little
ahead.
closer so people can really understand your how your brain really works.
Yeah, so it's kind of, you know, I made pins out of this. I'll make sure I get you a pin with this
Oh, very cool.
pattern.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's so
it's
amazing.
and
It's
then
beautiful.
you know, it's this one was a very organic piece also, but it's got the structure to it as well.
Wow.
And then pieces like this. This one's
Wow.
actually a really large piece.
Wow.
And then
gorgeous.
it's I think it's foam core.
If you
Yeah,
so
zoom
people
it in
can
a little bit. There we go. It's foam
Beautiful.
core,
Wow.
and it's acrylic paint.
Oh, is it?
Paint pen? Yeah, and then acrylic paint. Yeah. So
Very cool.
and then
I'll hold it so people can see while you
Yeah,
talk about
sorry.
it. Yeah. No.
So
Do you hold it like
yeah.
this, or you hold it like this,
You know,
or it's how
that's
everybody?
what usually I hold this one
Yeah.
actually in this way. I like the pattern to go this way.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, You can
How
flip
gorgeous.
it around.
It's
so
also
it's
like-
very symmetrical. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's also like kind of like whatever the viewer, right? How
Yeah,
the viewer sees
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. So sometimes also when I do, because it's very abstract, like the beginnings of it, I do the thing where you're like, okay, which
way
way
Yeah.
do I like better? You
Yeah.
know? So I choose one, but in reality, you can flip this
Wow.
in whichever way you
It's
want.
incredible.
It'll be in a very symmetrical frame.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for not giving up on your dream.
Thank
you know,
you.
for really
Thank
producing.
you.
Because I always think like if you didn't, the world would miss out on your incredible art.
Thank you
London
so much.
would never see the things that you do.
Thank
So I
you.
know that a lot of times it's such a struggle to kind of like come home after a long day and still kind of produce your stuff, or not knowing how financially you're gonna wiggle things. But I think besides all that, like the fact that you still get up and you do this stuff is just kind of like, I just want to remind all the artists and even the artists out there who are doing it every day that, if you didn't do that, we'd all miss out on it. We wouldn't be able to see the beauty that lies inside your brain.
Yeah.
Like I would
Yeah.
never understand your brain unless you actually show me an image of it.
Thank
You know?
Yeah,
And then even, I think like even after we're gone, long gone, it's like for people to look at it and be like, I've books of Frida Kahlo, even her
Yeah.
diary and stuff like that. And I feel like she's right there with me, even though she's not here anymore, but just kind of like being able to look inside her life,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I always think like, how do I share my most inner thoughts with the world, what's really happening, so people can kind of get a glimpse. And so I'm so grateful that you're able to come out today and that you're able to do this and that you're going to go to London, and I wish you the most incredible success. I hope that you're selling out and that you're really going to be able to take off big time from there. That's amazing. You deserve it. You're incredible. I love everything you do. If you don't mind,
Thank you. Yeah.
please tell everybody. I think you have something a little special to give away for our viewers and readers.
I do. So I have. I'm making prints of all the artwork. They're digital prints. These are all digital prints, and I'm giving them away to listeners and viewers for $15. And the majority are 12 by 16 or 8 by 10, and then these are 8 by 8. So
Wow,
they fit on.
amazing.
I try to make them in standard frames, so it's easy
Yeah.
for people to frame.
Very
them.
cool. And so they can get a print for $15. How do they find you?
So they can DM me. I am on Instagram, and it's at Art for Bella.
Yeah.
And or they can email me artforbella@gmail.
Beautiful.
Anytime.
Amazing.
And if they have general questions on art or design, or or say hi, or all good.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Or congratulate me that I just got married like 3 days ago.
Yeah, you got married 3 days ago? Oh wow,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Well, June 12th. When June
Yeah.
12th. Yeah.
I think that's about 4 days ago,
Yeah,
right?
4 days ago.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It still feels fresh.
Yeah. It's still fresh. So there we go.
Amazing. Aw, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank
This
you
is
for
really
inviting.
means a
This
lot.
is amazing that you're doing this, and
Yes.
I really like the motivation behind this.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a really good way
Yeah,
of
awesome.
reminding people not to give up.
No,
on their,
please don't.
yeah,
Yes,
on their
that's
dream, on
right.
the thing that they're doing.
That's yeah.
And I love your work. This
Thank you
is
so
beautiful.
much. Thank you,
So
thank you. I'm
beautiful.
gonna give you a hug. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming, my dear. I'm gonna turn
you.
you guys off. Thank you so much for tuning in,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to do this again.